Hi, my name is Aksik, aka Annika. Welcome to my channel. And this time, hopefully in this fairly short video for myself anyway, I just thought I'd give you an update about Languo gel pens. Not because I'm in any way affiliated with them or trying to get anybody to buy them, but because I have complained about certain issues before, about certain line of them, and I think they might have rectified it. So I just thought I'd let you know. Anyways, so we all know Languo, but short overview. First ones that came out were those ones. They are, I think, 0.5 millimeter tip ones. I think they called them needle tip ones or needle nose ones, depending on the website you're buying them from and how they're translating. But essentially, it does look a bit like a needle, the tip. And they are fairly reliable. I don't have any issues with skipping with them. None of them have stopped working. I haven't had to bang them against anything or heat them up or, doing all sorts of stuff that I've had to do with gel pens before. And also they are great for precision work, and they come in an array of very good, interesting, difficult colors, bright neon, more muted, kind of interesting tones. I only have a couple of packets here, but we all know them and most of us love them. And also with these ones, if you wanted to increase the flow, just since you're in this video, maybe you just clicked and didn't know before, if you wanted the pen to flow faster and more aggressively, all you need to do is take a bit of white tack. We call it white tack. A lot of I know that in different countries it's called a different thing. It's called putty, or this is the one I happen to have. Mostly we use it for, my kids use it for hanging up pictures and posters and whatever, stuff on the walls if they want to. But you can also use, I think, kneaded eraser, just, pull a piece off and use that. Yeah, and different countries, I think, call it putty and whatever. So you need to have this open, and I don't know if I can actually show it very well on this paper. Okay, this is a random notebook. So let's say I'm here now, very close here, and I'm writing. And, the flow is decent anyway. Like, I can't say anything against the flow as it is. But then if you push the tip like this, just push it in. Okay? And then when you put it down, the flow is like, I don't know if you can see how much more opaque and thick and wet it goes down. And for a while, little while, it'll write like this, and then it starts kind of getting a bit thinner again and not as wet. And all you need to do in that case is just pull it out and push it in again. So basically you keep pumping the air out of there. So these ones, great. Absolutely love them. Use them pretty much nowadays with every single page I do. They can be also diluted with water on the page, kind of washed out and used almost like kind of like watercolor pencils. So yeah, a lot of things can be done with them. If you want to see a good video about how to use them by kind of washing them out and playing with them, look at Jackie's channel, Spare Room Studio. She has some fantastic videos about that, and she won't lead you astray. So okay, that's about them. Then the next line that came out was these ones, and these were called Calligraphy gel pens. And there was only very, very limited kind of a amount of packets of them. There was this one, Also very beautiful colors. There was this one. These were the kind of a colorful ones, and I wish they had done them in more of a color choices. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show you in a second how it writes. There was also a pack of whites, pack of blacks, and I'm using both of these extensively, both blacks and whites. I actually have kind of spare pack of, because those blacks are actually great for putting down quick background. The flow is really, really rich, and you know, barely have to touch the paper. They give a lot of gel out as soon as you touch the paper. There's also gold and silver, which aren't super shiny, but it's quite also nice, especially kind of if you want to do them in backgrounds or bigger areas. And let me pull out one of them, just showing you, taking green one again. Okay, and the same paper, getting very close here to the camera again, hopefully. And I don't know if you can see, if I'm changing the angles and such, how little you have to touch the paper, how gentle. This paper is pretty textured as well, so take that into account as well. The smoother the paper, the smoother they of course go down. I don't know if you can see how wet. Yeah, you should see kind of a bit of a shine, you know, how wet and rich and thick they go down. Beautiful colors, beautiful lay down. And I was hoping, well, a lot of us were hoping that they will expand that line, obviously. But then they came out with more colors, with pens that looked exactly the same. I'm showing you the pen, this pen and this pen. They look exactly the same. The series number, everything is exactly the same, but they are not the same. Sadly, I don't have any packets left, but instead of calligraphy gel pen, on the packets it said painting gel pen plus. And these ones are kind of, for me anyway, I have heard some people who said, oh, they don't mind and they get actually along fine with them, in which case, great, really happy for you. But I have had, and I'm not the only one, they have a quirk, meaning they are essentially what it is, and what they have actually said on some of the websites and some of the translations as well, they're acrylic. And kind of acrylic ink. So when they get down and once they dry, they're waterproof. But probably to make sure that the ink doesn't dry in the pen, they use a different nib. And I don't know if you can see here the nib. I'm going to open one of the calligraphy ones as well to see the difference in the nib. You can see that one nib is slightly thicker, and this nib, the one which is on the painting gel pen, seems to have like a little ball at the tip. It's almost impossible to show, to be honest, even if I get very close to the camera here. And to get it activated, to get it actually writing, you have to press on the paper. And not just press in the beginning, you know, you think, you know, you press, you get it going and then it goes. No, you have to keep the pressure constantly when you are writing. So the moment you lighten the pressure, nothing happens. This is me trying to put something down. You have to keep pressing. And this, as you can imagine, is very annoying. Also very tiring for your hands, and also it rips up the paper, depending on the paper. But even on this paper you can already start seeing how it starts ripping up the surface. And if you go to the other side of the paper, on this you can't really see it well, but you get kind of pretty nasty lines. I tried it in a couple of backgrounds. You see, I'm just keeping the pressure on. I tried it, you know, do a couple of even little backgrounds with it. And in all of the cases, in one case, I managed to kind of mostly save it. and also it's nowhere near as kind of a juicy going down, of course. But in other case, I don't know if I have the book next to me here, and if I can actually show it to you easily. But here you can see I tried to put down yellow background. I don't know if you can, you know, if I keep moving it, possibly you can't see, but basically it's all kind of lines and it's banged up and the paper is pretty desperately ruined. Luckily there was, you know, already something behind it, so the paper, the other side was pretty strong. It had a layer of acrylic on it, but yeah, it looked awful going down. So I was very disappointed because I had gone with a big hooray when I saw all these new colors, and having experience of these previous calligraphy pens, I went with a huge hooray and bought loads of new colors, and then absolutely hated them. I just, you know, don't want to use them, don't like them. They're kind of utterly pointless for me. And what you're gonna do, you know, now I have loads of gel pens that I'm not going to probably use. I'm contemplating about, you know, can I find anything to do with them, but most likely I will send them to my daughter's art teachers in the school and see if they can figure out something. Okay, and then just to mention, although it's not directly connected to it, there's also Color Gel Pen Plus, and also they look exactly the same, but they are called shiny if you buy them. And essentially what there's a big, now pretty big, because they came out with new colors as well, which of course I had to get because I love me a nice glitter gel pen, and those are genuinely nice. They are glitter gel pens, very nice and juicy. Once again, very glittery. Some of them super glittery, some of them less, some of them very opaque, some of them less opaque. Some of them have dual tones, some of them don't. So you pretty much, you know, you get the colors and then you start experimenting what they look like. But I love them. And here they are. There's a lot of them and they are super shiny. You know, as I said, some of them more, some of them less, some of them more opaque, some of them less. I especially love, you know, the selection of green, and some of them are pretty opaque ones, which can be great for kind of a fun covering of lines and such. So yeah, very much adore these ones too. But these are not, you know, that's not getting off the topic here. What I wanted to say is, now obviously a lot of people have complained about these ones, you know, and how awkward they are to use and how tiring and how much they bang up the paper and damage the paper. And they came up with a new line. And because they were kind of on an offer, and because I do want those acrylic paint pens, which would work nicely. And I saw, not on English language, but on YouTube, somebody who had bought them and gave a very good review. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to plunge and I'm going to buy them. And this is now also, you know, there's nothing immediately kind of that tells you that it's different, except now they have this design. They are available in small sets as well. They come as usual in sets of 6. But you know, kind of a different colorways and combinations. But I just bought the full set because I knew I would end up eventually collecting them all anyway. Because I do love me a good gel pen. They have totally replaced for me acrylic pens, and these are acrylic. So essentially they're waterproof when they are down and they are dry. Then they're waterproof. If they're not dry, you can still quickly wash them out, you know. So these ones you can recognize from that curlicue. All the smaller packets have this kind of a rainbow curly whirly thing on them, and in many listings it would also say new or improved, and basically they fixed what was wrong with the previous ones, and now you don't have to sit on the marker to get it writing. And these ones are, here I go. I found some kind of like collection of sets on Amazon.com as well. I will link it into this video. It might be out of stock, you know, or, you know, whatever, but I will put it in there. And I will also put the kind of a TEMU link if you want to, you know, look at the TEMU links. But here they are. There's 90 of them. And trust me, I will use them cheerfully and lovingly. So there's 5 trays. The trays are actually sturdy, like they're not super flimsy, and the pens sit in the trays super securely, like this. You actually have to work to get them out. It might be actually sometimes a bit of a pain. So usually I have something like this, so you know, something to kind of help me to push them up, to take them out, because they're in there very, very neatly and tightly. You can hear the click. Okay, I'm going to put that. And now if I put it back, it literally clicks back in. So because they're in so tightly in that, let me see if I can kind of try to spread them so you can see the colors better. Probably not. I don't have enough height here. But here is another one. There's 5 trays. And look at these colors. And yes, they do write smoothly without you having to really kind of keep pressing onto them constantly. And this is the 5th tray. And I still don't know, I haven't decided for myself if I'm going to leave them these trays, although it does look neat and, you know, kind of very easy to see in a way, but then you have to take out all 5 trays to see all the colors. I usually go back to my good old trusted rubber band method. Very sophisticated I am, but I love it. You know, I just love picking them up like this, pulling them apart and seeing exactly which one I'm going to take. And for the needle nose ones, I have these little sheets. They were actually like transparent bags with, I think, 4 of these sheets inside. Or was it 3 per bag? But I did not want them in bag. I wanted them kind of easily accessible. So the way I am storing them is essentially like this. So I just, you know, go through them like that. And it's like, I like having things open like this, if I in any way can. But these ones, okay, let's talk about the things we actually meant to talk. These ones now, they are, let me get the thing again and pick up one of the markers. Once again, something greenish. And you can see I am not putting any pressure on it. Just gently. They are not as juicy and as wet as the old calligraphy ones, but I do kind of understand why. They're still juicy and they still go down effortlessly. And you can do bigger and flat, you know, kind of flatter areas if you wanted. I do understand why they're not as, because it is acrylic ink. It does dry waterproof. So there is a danger, obviously, that, you know, if the opening probably is too big, that they will just, you know, kind of dry and stop working. But they have worked amazingly for me. And you can actually see that for these ones, like all the previous ones have been P600 on the marker, on the gel pen barrel. The new ones are P650. So they are actually recognizing them as a new line or kind of update. And it's actually marked on the gel pen, so you can tell the difference even if you, you know, don't try them. So yeah, they are really nice. I'm gonna also show you the comparison. Let me see. Let me put them back into the box. So yeah, I am very glad that I found them. And also the color selection I find is really lovely. But I will get probably proper swatching a bit later. I haven't had time to do that yet. And I'm going to bring you down again. And this is now kind of comparison, okay? So this little square here at the top is the sparkle gel pen or shiny gel pen. That's also 1mm. You can see how it's shiny. And my thought, I'll also show you opaqueness, although with the glitter ones you'd have to show every single one of them because they are genuinely, they differ. Some of them have very opaque ink and very little sparkle. Some of them are super sparkly and not opaque at all. So you kind of need to experiment with them. So you can see this one isn't opaque at all, but some of them are. So it's kind of a, let me pull out one that is fairly opaque. Just, okay, that was kind of a quick, but here's the one. But at the same time, it's much more opaque, but it has way less sparkle. So yeah, there's, you know, different versions, different colors, but they are really nice. Very, very happy, very smooth, you know, give a lot of ink out, lovely to kind of this really, you know, especially for gel pen, lovely intense glitter. Then this little square here is 0.5mm. So those are the needle nose ones. So this is the packet. So it says, does it say here on the packet anywhere that it's 0.5? Oh, it says 0.6. See, different places say different things, but actually the packet here says 0.6mm. So I apologize, I've been giving you wrong information. It's 0.6. And these ones, as I said, go down better, or, you know, kind of more juicy if you do that stuff the tip trick, like I showed you before. And this is the surface. It has slight shine to it, not super intense, but it is slightly shiny. Then there's next square is these ones. So those are the calligraphy ones, which went down very juicy and are so nice to work with. The pitfalls being that it is quite shiny. Nothing will go on top of this one. And also, if you put them down on the work, I don't know if you can see how shiny it is. If you put them down on the work, please make sure that you put these ones on last, because they kind of, you can scratch that surface easily. I did a kind of almost full page with them, and I had to keep going back into fix areas because I had to, you know, pull something over, or, you know, kind of my nail had touched it and there was scratch on it. So this surface, you know, if I was you, I would almost kind of put a fixative on it at the end. This is the 1mm painting pens, the first edition. So these ones, the ones that you had to press down to actually get them to working, and you had to keep pressing down to work with them. And the surface is also fairly shiny. Don't know if you can see, but it's not as shiny as the calligraphy ones, but it's still shiny. Okay, and these ones are the new ones now, the also 1mm, and this is a lot less shiny. It's almost, it's not exactly matte, but compared to all the other ones, it is kind of matte. And it is also, of course, waterproof. Let me show you. Do I have anything here that has water in it? Okay, I do. I have this water brush. So here. I can show you actually both of these. The 1 millimeter previous. Here I go. It's not properly dry yet because I just, okay, this is not good. It is actually waterproof, but because I just put it down recently, it's not properly set yet. Okay. And this one, you see, nothing is moving there. Nothing is going anywhere. And it is matte. Well, matte-ish. So if you try to put pencil, okay, I have here red pencil. If you try to put pencil on any of the previous ones, if you have very gentle touch, you can get a tiny bit on the 0.6 millimeter. I will actually fix that because it's not 0.5, it's 0.6. I wouldn't go and try to put any pencil, like you can with a gentle touch like this, onto that very shiny surface of the calligraphy ones, but you couldn't really, maybe, you know, in some corner or some area, just with a very light touch, you put a tiny bit of darkness, or, you know, kind of, but no, it's not really good surface. And most likely the kind of you know, if you accidentally press too hard, you can actually lift or kind of scratch the surface altogether. And same with the other kind of 0.6 millimeter. The painting plus the ones you have to press on, the surface is sturdier, so you know, the pencil doesn't scratch away the surface, but it's also shiny. So nothing really, you know, okay, you can put that much. You know, if you need to, you do kind of surface and want to put some bit of dark someplace, yeah, maybe you could, but I wouldn't really use pencils on top of it. I'm just, you know, showing different pencils. Yes, it does go on top, but is it good? No. Now, on this surface, the new ones, if you put it down, I don't know if you can see it, how differently it goes down. It doesn't immediately kind of just glide over it. You can actually put tiny bit of subtle shading with a pencil down on it. You can see how pencil is way brighter and smoother on it. So you could technically, I wouldn't, you know, consider them, you know, work on top of them with pencil, but you can work on top of with a pencil a little bit, okay? Way better than all the previous ones anyway. And as far as opaqueness goes, oh gosh, okay, let's be quick about it, otherwise this video gets silly long again. Okay, so this is the needle nose one. And we're going to take that line. I'm going to come close. So you see, I deliberately now picked, okay, it's the angle, you see. That is a bit awkward. I picked yellow because yellows tend to be one of the least opaque ones. So I'm going to try and show yellow from each line. And this line is also, of course, super thick and kind of a super bit of a black. I have managed to put them down fairly opaquely on pretty dark lines, but it does depend on the individual gel pen sometimes. You know, some colors are more, even yellows, you know, some yellows are more opaque than others. Once again, the angle is killing. So yes, you know, if you try yellow, you will kind of have the shine through. So let's take, well, for this one, I don't really, do I have anything that is remotely yellowish? Okay, I have in this set something that is kind of close to yellow, though it's more of a muted tone. So these are the calligraphy ones. And these are as opaque as they come. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful coverage, which is, you know, one of the reasons why I really like them. They are super opaque, super juicy. Now, these ones, let's take the ones you have to press on. Let's take this yellow. And you can see that it is, well, it's not as opaque, but it's still pretty opaque. But you know, you do have to keep pressing. But you can, you know, if you wanted to, you can just go over the line and get rid of it. There you go. It's a little bit glowing through, but you know, once it dries, you could go over it again, because you can layer them, because you get, as you can hear here, because the surface dries to solid waterproof, kind of acrylic surface really. You can go on top with different colors, or put another layer of the same color down to make it more opaque. For these ones, it's very hard to actually go over them, because you will disturb the layer underneath, the 0.6 millimeter ones and the calligraphy ones. And now the new painting ones. Let's find me a yellow. There's also always too few yellows, it seems, in these sets for some reason. Okay, so this is nice and opaque. As I said, it depends slightly on the color as well, but you know, it's pretty much as opaque as the previous ones. And you don't have to. You can just draw without having to push on it. One of my main reasons that I really wanted to have something that I don't have to push it. Often you have to, especially if you're covering the lines, something like, or you want to make grass, let's say. You want to push it upwards. And with these ones, the moment you take the pressure off, it's very hard to kind of do free motions with them. You can somewhat, but it kind of scratches the paper. Like this. Whereas with the new ones, which I keep putting away, like I could just keep one on the desk. You know, once you get it, you can do very kind of a gentle little bits very easily. Or, you know, get them, when you're increasing or releasing the pressure, the line is getting thinner or thicker. You can see here. Whereas with these ones, if you decrease the pressure, it stops writing. So that's why you can see how I just, you know, decreasing pressure and thicker line, and then I decrease the pressure, and you get this very, very thin line. And this is what I want from my gel pens as well. And these ones, the new series B650, do that. So this, does it sound like I'm advertising Languo gel pens? Because really, I'm not. If you don't need them, and if you have enough, please don't go and buy them, because I showed you all those gel pens. I just really like my gel pens. Let's be honest about it. So washing them out. Okay, so do I have anything that is active here? Okay, I do. So these are the ones you need to push. And as you can see, while they're still wet, you can wash them out. The problem being that they kind of tend to really, you know, because you have to keep pressing on them, they tend to damage and rough up the paper in the areas where you do press on them. And the new ones, Let me see. Why do I keep putting it away? This is actually, I never learn. Okay, this is the new one. So I'm putting down the random amount of it. And while it's still wet, you can wash it out. So you can pretty much use them as an acrylic wash as well. To some extent, I wouldn't go, because you can't do big areas, okay, at the same time, because obviously you have to work fast. You have to put tiny bit down, wash it out, but you can wash them out. So you can do some interesting effects with that, I guess. Well, I'm sure. I don't have to guess. So yeah, this is just, you know, for your information that there are new ones now that did get rid of that issue that the old ones had, and you don't have to keep pressing on them while you're writing. Just, you know, just an information video. As I said, not trying to sell anything, please. Don't just buy for the sake of buying. But, you know, if you were looking for something like that, and, you know, if you had bought these and you were really unhappy with how they worked, but you still want something like that, now you can get it. So thank you very much for watching. Sorry for saying 0.5 millimeter for a pen that was 0.6 millimeter all through the video. And hope you're having a great time. Good crafting for you, and good arting, good coloring, and just have a lovely time. And bye bye.